Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another edition of Old School versus New School. What's going on, Alex?
What's up, Nicole? How you doing, baby? And everybody in the room, I see Room Shaker, vibe with Big Heavy.
What's up, Shay?
Yeah, what's going
What's
on?
going on, Big Heavy? Big Heavy, did you start your page yet? We trying to vibe with Big Heavy.
Trying to vibe with Big Heavy. Crazy. How you doing, Nicole? What's your week been like?
You always ask me that in this Monday,
Mhm.
but since my life is not a normal life,
Right. And I haven't talked to you in a few days. You know what I mean? So the end of last week, the middle to the inner part of last week. So got a little catching up
yeah,
to do.
things are very, very hectic for me. It's good and it's bad. It's like, sometimes you be wanting to celebrate the goods, but it just always be something going on.
Those are the ebbs and flows and a roller coaster on your way to success. That's what you got to understand. You're on your way to something greater. And every
Mhm.
time you on the verge of accomplishing another goal to elevate you further toward greatness, the enemy comes, you know what I'm saying? The spiritual enemy comes and puts stuff on you. That's how it always happens. Because once you're elevated, you're going to help people that the enemy doesn't want you to help.
Definitely, definitely. Speaking of, I'm not gonna unveil it just yet tonight, but I want everybody to tune in to a special story time that's tomorrow. Because it's crazy that you said that because we haven't spoken, so you don't know what I got going on. But that little detail that you just said, it's kind of like confirmation, I guess, because we're unveiling something tomorrow. So everybody tune in to story time. It's kind of a heart jerker. I'll say that.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you know me, I'm just full of wisdom, among other things.
Here we go, y'all.
so,
Y'all
so
know what he really full of. No, I'm
uh,
just playing.
but
Big
but you,
Heavy said I just put out 2 videos, but I haven't went live yet. Okay, I'm gonna have to go over there and make sure that I put my likes on there. Y'all know we big on support over here. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to Big Heavy. Make sure y'all subscribe to Room Shaker.
mm-hmm.
And make sure y'all are subscribed to Magnetic Repellent because he got some new things in store for you guys. I told y'all I will be adding that to the description every episode. So your store is in the description.
Yep, my store is there, and I got a lot of inventory in my store. I just released coffee mugs, welcome mats for the front of your homes, a lot of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of stuff coming up. I'm also about to release designer tote bags, over the weekend bags or overnight bags that you carry.
They call they're called okay, so this is new school teaching old school something. It's
Okay.
called a spin a night bag.
Spend a night. Yeah. Is that one word?
Yeah, one word, spin
Spell
a
it.
night bag.
Spell it.
Spin a night bag.
Spend a night bag. Now, what you know about spending night bags? And spend a night with who?
I didn't
Mm,
make up the lingo. I just live, I didn't make up the lingo.
you over here acting like you an aficionado on the spend the night bag. So I want to know who you been packing up
Oh,
for a night
no,
with.
no. I just know what's going on. I had heard from somebody who
Yeah,
had
yeah,
heard from
yeah.
somebody.
Mm.
And the new name is Spin a Night Bag.
The night bag. Yeah. What had happened was, yeah, okay.
I got my own house. I ain't spending the night nowhere unless I'm out of town.
Yeah, well, I am.
We know. See, this goes back to things you're full of.
I don't have to be home. I'm welcome every place. I don't have to be home.
I'm going home.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, I mean, if it's just for a night, maybe a weekend, you know what I mean?
Nah, if I'm out of town, I'm gonna
Mm.
go out of town. Ain't no
Yeah,
staycations around here for me. No.
no staycations.
No, I want out. I'm gonna be in the road. Me and my quadruple, we like take road trips.
Or you like road trips? I like road trips too. I like road trips more than plane rides because on a road trip you get to see more scenery and stuff. Plane ride, you just up in the air, you know.
Yeah.
But
Hey
doing a
Miss
road,
Sherry.
what's up, Sherry? So,
Miss Sherry, we gotta get together so we can get you on story time.
oh, you don't want Miss Sherry on story time. You don't want to
Yes,
do that.
I do. I like Miss Sherry.
Miss Sherry's a hot mess. She gonna she gonna she
No,
gonna blow story time up. You know,
no.
it
We got
might be your highest rating show.
Hey Ben, what's going on?
What's up, Ben? Ben Walker, TD4L. You know
Yeah.
something? You know something, Nicole? We started last week. Start talking about this child support issue, and
Mm,
it's some things that I didn't discuss last week that I kind of wanted to pick up on this week, and not to
here we go, y'all.
not to stretch out the issue or be elongated, but it's a very complex thing. You know, I was
Mm,
watching a video this past week, had two gentlemen there discussing, child support and how the payments are divvied up and how those things are divided and goes toward bonuses, incentives, interest payments, processing fees, and things for the people in the legal system. They get their bonuses and they have incentives based on how much child support they can collect. Now, when I was in court years ago, right, my ex took me to court years ago, probably about 19, 20 years now to this point. I go to court, I'm sitting there, and of course, anytime you walk into family court as a man, particularly a big black man, I ain't no skinny Urkel looking dude, okay? Big black man, they're gonna look to do some buck breaking on you. They want to break you down, of
oh
course.
wow.
You walk in there, you the enemy. They're gonna try to break you for everything you got. It didn't work, but they tried it. Okay. I sit next to my ex's attorney while he sit there and try to negotiate whatever he gonna try to get from me. And I looked over to him and I said, well, how much money you getting? And the look on his face, he said he was so offended, like, sir, I don't know why you even say a thing like that, sir. Why would you say that, sir? I said,
Wait a
because it's
minute. You asked a man what he getting in child support?
the attorney. I asked my
Oh,
ex's attorney,
oh okay.
okay? I said, how much money you getting from this? And he got offended. Like, how dare you say that about the legal system? I'm a legal representative of the state. You know how they wear all these titles and stuff on their sleeve, which don't mean shit because you're still a human being with your hand out, you know. So I knew that 20 plus years ago that that's how that system works. So here we are, fast forward 19, 20 years. I'm watching this video last week, and they're saying exactly that judges, attorneys, other people that work in family court, they get bonuses and incentives based off the amount of child support they can rape or steal from a non-custodial parent. Now, ain't that some shit? Okay, so who's the real victim? Is it you as a non-custodial parent? Is it the custodial parent that's the victim because they taking a lot of money from the child? Okay, or is the legal system in general victimizing themselves? You know, or is the or is the ex being victimized? There's a lot of victims at play here, but all the time the
Well, I'm gonna
follow the
let me
dollar.
answer that because I want to answer that.
Okay.
The largest victim is the child. That's the number one victim. The number one victim is the child because 9 times out of 10, the person paying child support is not there. And then I would say the custodial parent. Now you disagree for different reasons, but being a custodial parent in a different situation, that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you say the children first, the custodial parents second. Obviously, everybody's opinions differ. I think we can all agree that the children suffer first. And the reason I say the children suffer first is because when the court take all their money, okay, they give the children what's left. It's almost like taxes. If you're a W-2 employee, okay, and you work on the books and you work hourly wage and stuff like that, the way the taxes work is the government take their money first and give you what's left. Okay. That's why you pay more taxes than wealthy people. Because when you're a private business owner or independent contractor, you do a 1099, for instance, on your taxes, you keep all your money and then you add up your expenses and your overhead and things of that nature, and the government what's left. That's why it's very advantageous to own your own business, to be out there on your own, to do your own thing, because you have more control over your money, and you can kind of capitalize on some of these tax loopholes or tax incentives or tax laws, so be it, or whatever. So be that as it may, with the child support thing, okay, why are these other additional costs even in there? See, that's what we have to ask ourselves. What's with the incentives? What's with the bonuses these people are getting? What's with the administrative fees? What's with the processing fees, the late fees? And all these are real costs, TheeEnicole, that come out. Okay. So we didn't even talk about the principal, which is the child support itself. We're talking about all these other costs chopping up that pie. Okay. So it's always about following the dollar, following the dollar. And a lot of people are suffering. Yes, the children suffers. The non-custodial parent really suffers because if he do want to
No,
pay,
I don't agree with you, right? That's where we separate.
well, that's your situation. You talking personally,
We separate because of our situations.
right? Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I'm talking about for the people that do pay, for the people that do pay, who want the money to go to their children in its entirety, not pieces, not after this been taken out and that's been taken out. Give them all the money. And these are things that a non-custodial parent who's just being vindictive or vengeful or angry or whatever, that's what they don't understand about that system. The system don't care about you. They see something in it for them.
You mean the custodial parent that is being vindictive?
Right. The custodial parent that's being vindictive. Right. Did I say non-custodial?
You said non-custodial.
Oh yeah, the custodial parent. Thank you for the correction. The custodial parent that's being vindictive or maybe angry about how the relationship ended or whatever. Okay, they don't understand. They don't understand you. What's so funny? Oh,
You keep saying it, but go ahead though.
what's so funny?
You keep saying the non-custodial parent.
I said custodial.
No, you
Custodial.
did.
I didn't.
It's
Okay.
funny. But I
Okay.
think I don't. I think that
You funny. She up here clowning me, y'all.
no, but I mean I understand why you. Hey Joe, I understand why you know you have a negative feeling around it because of what you went through. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but you're the non-custodial parent, so I know you're standing up
Yeah.
for yourself. But you,
see, you know what? That proves I'm scarred.
yes.
I've been
So,
traumatized. I've been traumatized.
hey Kim.
I've been
Yeah.
traumatized by this mess for real. This is
Yeah.
no joke. So I just,
So I understand why you're saying that though, but it was just
right.
funny.
But I guess the point I want to make with the custodial parent, make sure I'm saying the right person. The custodial parent who gets angry about things like the relationship didn't end well, or the non-custodial parent had a child with somebody else, or they moved on to another city or state, or whatever it is that the custodial parent is angry about, it has nothing to do with the type of parent the non-custodial parent is to the children. If they're a good mother or father to the children, it don't matter what they're doing out there. Keep that out of it. Okay, you shouldn't even need the court to get into that. But they use the court as a means of revenge, because the best way to hurt somebody is to get in their pocket and try to break them. To try to break them. You know what I mean? So, and if you got a whole city or state with a foot in your neck,
Hey, Jay.
how do you fight that, TheeEnicole? If you got a whole city or state on your neck and you one individual, you can't afford to pay for legal counsel. You got a court-appointed lawyer who's friends with everybody in the fucking courthouse and not going to represent you properly. Okay, how do you win? You have to find other ways to make noise. You got to find other ways to fight. And you got to try to fight dirty the way they fight dirty. But you up against a giant. Period. Point blank. So if there's
I just feel
anybody,
like if men took care of their children or could at least swallow their pride to make the situation feasible for the mother. Like, I'm not saying like let somebody jerk you around or anything like that, but the women are not at fault all the time.
I didn't say that
I
at
ain't
all.
saying you said that.
No.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
I'm really talking about the system, TheeEnicole, because we know that there are fathers out
But
here
what
who are.
I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying if it's everything starts at home before you even let the system in, right? So what I'm saying is before you even get to the system, when you make a child with somebody, if y'all deal with things accordingly before it gets to the system, then you won't have to deal with the system. It's people that take care of their kids without getting the system involved. You know what I'm saying?
I
That's what
agree
I'm
with
saying.
I agree with you, but that takes two mature adults who are not using anger and pain as their driving force. When you're using anger and pain as your driving force, you're going to do whatever you got to do to hurt the other person. It's not about the children. It's not about nothing but hurting that other person. Yes, we know there's men out here that drop the ball. I talk about this all the time. Just because a woman no longer wants you does not mean the children stop being yours. Okay? I'm seeing
So,
that I'm seeing that a lot with these guys. Okay? How you going
and
to
then
say
let's flip it around to be fair, because we are equal opportunity blamer around here. And
mhm,
so just because that man don't want you no more doesn't mean he don't want to see his damn kids.
that part too? That part too. So we have to stop leading with the anger, with the bitterness, with the hatred, and act with responsibility and fairness for the sake of the children. But when a breakup is new and fresh and it ended badly, people don't think straight. They caught up in their emotions. There's no thinking straight. There's no logic based out of emotion. If you
Yeah, because I'm sorry, Alex. I really want to segue to something because this is a great point to segue, but I don't know why it just hit me like that, but really just punched me in my chest actually. Um the problem with this is that all these grown people are so-called grown people with my quotation fingers up are so in their feelings about each other that nobody is caring about these kids. Meanwhile, these kids are coming up missing. Nobody's talking about them. Young people are coming up dead everywhere. Nobody's talking about them. But you still worried about who Henry having sex with? I don't understand.
Nicole, I've been thinking about this all week throughout. It's not national news, but it's a lot of people out here missing. Black people
It should be
missing.
national news. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
not
not national news.
I don't know what's going on in Ohio with was it almost 40 people missing at this point, unaccounted for, black people. I mean, what the hell is going on here? It is not national news.
Oh wait, time out. Let's put a bookmark right there because she said something very important. I want to know what you think, actually, Alex. She's Kim, the artist, says it's not always anger and pain. What about mental health issues? I need to be able to trust you with my kids, especially as their father. That's interesting.
That's interesting. I would like Kim, the artist, please expound on that a little bit. Because are you saying, what if the father's mentally ill? Can you trust him with the children? Or are you saying it's the mentally ill issues that ended the relationship and made the custodial parent angry? It's some good points in there. I just need you to clarify a few things because mental illness is a real issue, but I don't want people using mental illness as a crutch either because there's a lot of that going on. Okay. For instance, a guy go out here, okay, and unalive some people, okay, and then he know how to cover his tracks and hide and go back home like he didn't do nothing and clean up the crime scene and do all this kind of stuff he's doing, okay. He's not mentally ill. He knew exactly what he's doing, okay. He's a killer, period. Ain't no way around that. But when he gets caught, then we want to start going, oh, he may be mentally ill. No, stop using mental illness as a crutch. It's a serious thing. A lot of people have it and don't even realize that they have it. And the thing with Kim, the artist, is saying that she's alluding to, okay, she's saying it here. Yes, father being mentally ill and emotionally unstable with a history of violence. Okay, that's that. Yeah, okay, that's a whole nother thing there. Now that's loaded. You see that, TheeEnicole?
Hmm.
Now, if the father's mentally ill and emotionally unstable with a history of violence, you cannot let your children be alone with this person. He can't even have visitation unsupervised. If that's the case, if that's really the case, or in some circumstances, and here's the elephant in the room, some women will go to court and claim those things just to get leverage against the man.
And that's
Talk.
the problem. The women like that will go and lie on the man to keep him from his children, and the courts will uphold that and stop that upstanding man from seeing his children. Meanwhile, the woman who's actually being abused and actually going through stuff and actually reporting it, they don't do nothing for that one. So they demand that woman to let the man, the crazy man, see the children. Like, this system is really fucked up. The system is fucked up. That's why I say, before you even get to the system, knowing that they don't care about you and your kids, the conversation needs to happen at home first. Now, granted, there are situations like what Kim was talking about where you have mental issues going on, or you may have a jealous person, but that take us all the way back to a whole different conversation we have where we say you need to take your time
Mm.
with people that you're in relationships with, especially when you having kids. And I know sometimes you don't see things, hindsight is 2020. But the fact that this system is so messed up, we as a community need to start giving a fuck about each other more. Because you see that the world don't care about us. They don't care. Like, um, in Ohio, it's over 1,000 minors missing right now. They didn't all just disappear in one damn day.
1,000.
It's over 1,000 in a couple of cities. I don't want to go too far into that because I'm actually doing a show on it. I don't want to give all the details away, but this
Okay.
is serious though. You know what I'm saying? It's serious. and we're actually going to do something about it. Like, this is not going to be just talking about something because it's so-called content. Y'all know I don't give a fuck about that. Like, this is important. Where are these kids at? And better yet, like we said on Tipsy Talk, if you're not a member, you probably missed it because it's over there on members only. But we had a nice little conversation on Tipsy Talk the other day, and we brought that up because where are the parents? You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody's kid's missing, you would expect to see some parents demanding answers on where their child is.
Mm. And I'm sitting here because it's mind boggling to me, right? Which is over 1,000. I'm sitting here talking about 35 or 40 because
No,
that's the last thread I seen. But I think that was just in Cleveland. You saying throughout Ohio over 1,000.
no, in Cleveland only right now, it's over 1,000.
Damn. Why isn't that national news? Well, it's not.
Exactly.
It's not national
No,
news because it's probably primarily people of color, for one, black people.
no, there was white kids on that chart too. And
Some.
also the reason why it's not nationally news. So okay, so we're gonna go deep today, huh? Okay. So it's not national news because the higher ups are involved. Ain't no way your child gonna be missing and you don't want to know where they are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The higher ups are definitely involved, and everybody acts like they're scared to talk about things. I thought we was in America, so called, and it's freedom of speech. So y'all have the freedom to say whatever else y'all want to say. Why do we not stand for something?
Well, an elephant in the room, Nicole. We're talking about trafficking, and the real elephant in the room that nobody really wants to talk about is the possibilities of alien abduction, because or America actually trading life to these otherworldly figures for whatever in exchange for whatever. And I know it sounds crazy. Everybody want to say you're a conspiracy theorist, you're this, you're that, but it would be asinine to think, if you got any thread of common sense, that there is only in an entire universe that is endless, that there is only life on Earth. Okay, that's asinine to even make a statement like that, because you have to understand there's so many things. We're nothing but a speck, and we're only here living for a fraction of a second compared to how long this universe has existed.
Mm.
Other worlds, other life forms, all this kind of things that have gone on way before we even existed. Okay, in this form, because I believe we exist in other energies. Once we leave here, we were somewhere before we came here. That's another discussion.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, that's another discussion.
But
Okay.
Kim says because we have to hold the government accountable and they are the real traffickers. And I agree. And the reason why they will never be held accountable is because, we talked about this on previous shows, and we talk about how our people, because I can only relate to me and my people, okay? I can talk about other ethnicities and things like that, but I choose to speak to us because that's who I relate to, right? We
Mm-hmm.
stand for a cause for 5 minutes.
Right.
As soon as those 5 minutes are over, it's back to business as usual. Nobody still stands, so they don't take us serious. So, in order to hold somebody accountable, it's a long haul type of fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, me
It is.
Banks.
It is. It is. Hey,
Oh,
me Banks.
we have a special guest, everyone.
We have a guest.
Yes, we have a special guest.
Oh, okay. I wonder who it is. What's that? What's that? Bob Eubanks used to say, "Come
Hmm.
on down. You're our next contestant
What
on."
did you say? This wasn't his name.
Was his name Bob Eubanks? He just
No,
died.
his name was Bob Barker. What
Bob
is
Barker.
going
Okay.
on?
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so sorry I'm late. I thought it was 7 and I thought I was doing, something big, hopping on early, and no, I'm late. I apologize. Please accept my apologies.
Yeah, I
No,
see.
you're fine. Yes, it's 7:30.
Yeah, and we
7:30. What? It,
yeah 7:30.
so
We've been kicking it.
what time is it? I got. Oh, you know what? The time fell back, and they don't do it here. So it's 7:30, but it's 6:30. Okay, my
Okay.
bad. I'm sorry.
And you're where?
I'm in Jamaica, so my
Jamaica.
time they don't do the fall back and spring ahead. So my time is still 6:30.
Oh, okay. So
Well, welcome.
that's a
Thank
good
you.
reason. Because since she in Jamaica, if I was upset, I would have said, "What a bomber clock, Raj! You doing Lincoln?"
I'm done with Alex right now.
So how are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
We're great. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
I'm great, thank you.
I'm gonna make the introduction. Everybody, this is Kenya Rahmaan. TheeEnicole, this is Kenya Rahmaan. It's the first time you guys have met. I've known Kenya for a little while now.
Nice to
She's
meet
the
you.
author. We met because she's the author of a book called The Child Support Hustle. This is how we met. You see Kenya, I'm wearing my T-shirt.
I see. I like it. I like it.
This is Miss Rahmaan's book, Child Support Hustle, and that's
I
the
see
book that made her famous or infamous, if you will, depending on
Hey, everybody coming in.
how you look
They
at it.
they came in because they heard Miss Kenya was here now, so they coming in the building.
it.
They flowing in. So let's get to it a little bit since you're late. I know we got a few things we wanted to cover with you. First of all, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We wanted to introduce you to our following. We have a large following, and we wanted to introduce you to that and get you some, some more fans and followings of your businesses that you're involved in. We'll get into that later on as well. But what I wanted to ask you, you and I met, of course, through your work in the family court child support system, and I've been a supporter of your work.
Thank you.
A fan, if you will. Very,
Supporter, I don't like that word, fan. Supporter, we all
yeah,
out here trying to get it, trying to do our thing.
yeah. Well, I've always been a supporter and admirer. I'll say that. And
Thank you.
so I wanted to ask you, what was it that spearheaded this? What was the defining moment that said, you know what, I got to get into this thing and try to do something?
Well, I started this very, let's say, innocently. I didn't know I would ever do this at all. It was by accident. From Columbus, Ohio. I don't know. E, are you from Ohio as well?
YouTube is a very tricky place, so I just tell everyone I'm from heaven.
um, so I'm from Ohio originally. So when I came home, I was in the army, and I came home and couldn't find a job. Ended up on public assistance, aka welfare, and this was during the transition of welfare reform in the '90s. And when they reformed it, part of that reformation was you had to put the other parent, on child support. Um, well, we didn't know, I know I didn't, that when you were putting them on child support, they promised us, or the trade off was $50 extra on your welfare check. Um, but what we didn't know was that trade off was a lawsuit against your baby's father. So years later, I moved to Texas, relocated, and a lot of punishments came along with that child support order. We found out later, license suspensions, um, jail, passport revocations, all everything that came later. So I was in Texas at work. My daughter's father had gotten arrested. They called me way in Texas. What do you want to happen to him? I thought that was too much power for me to have over him, for one thing. So I said, let him out. And I started working to get this case closed against him. No, we weren't together. But I mean, it was just at that point, what was the point? I wasn't there. And it ended up taking me 8 years to close that case. and I found out a lot about what came to be what is going on now, Title 4D. And it's a part, Title 4D of the Social Security Act, and it's specific to welfare recipient in our cases, which translates into you sign your rights to any child support collected on your behalf over to your respective state. And they decide how much money you get from the collections. Some states give zero. Some states, like Ohio at that time, gave 50. Some give up to $200. But
Mm.
that is how my book came about, The Child Support Hustle. A lot of people think I talk about moms hustling dads out of money. That's not what my book is about. It's about the government hustling us out of our child support or our support period of taking care of our children.
Let me ask you this, Kenya, because I'm in my 50s. I'm old enough to remember, unfortunately, when I'm a product of welfare. I grew up on welfare, very poor inner city Brooklyn, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm old enough to remember the welfare lady coming to my house to see if my mother had a man, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and she would look for men's shoes, look in the closet, see if any men's clothes were hanging in there, looking for pipes or cigars, any sign of a man. They
Mm-hmm.
come in and they look because they don't want you to have the help. So when you say this additional $50, was being issued or whatever, is that because they issue it and then
Hey,
your ex
Nene.
gotta pay that back? And if he doesn't
Yes,
pay it back, then it's a crime.
yes. It's to reimburse. The Title 4D program is all set up to for your child's father to reimburse the government for the welfare that was paid on your behalf, or the child's behalf.
Mm,
But the problem with that is that welfare is a grant. It's not meant to be paid back. And that's why they go after the father, because they can't go after the mother. It's not a loan. And that loan is based on a system of common law, which is a whole different can of worms. Um, but basically, the common law theory states, I'm sorry, I got this screen open, it was hot, but this door. But common law basically says that if another person or entity steps in to take care of your child, your dependent, then they can sue you
mm,
to reimburse themselves, to recover any money spent. And that's basically what that system is. If you don't agree to repay them.
right.
But in my ignorance, I had no idea that this is what they were doing. This was just I researched it trying to close my case because they refused to back in 2006 all the way until 2013 when I released my book. After I got my case closed, and it was like $30,000 of arrears owed. But
Mm,
even if they recovered that $30,000, I would have never gotten it. It would have
mm,
went straight to the state, and I've never even received $30,000 plus in welfare benefits.
mm.
But yeah, to answer your question,
Now you said this is mind blowing as far as a lot of people didn't even know that welfare was a grant. Okay,
yeah,
so that's mind blowing in and of itself.
Hey, we
The other
building up here.
the other thing is, isn't it supposed to be supposedly our tax dollars that provides welfare when we're in need of it? So it shouldn't
right.
have to pay it back. Is that
No,
how
it's
that
not.
should go?
No, it's not to be paid back. And I call it the triple dip actually, because it's actually paid three times if you break it down. The tax dollars pay it for one, two, the child support pays it, and then three, when they did the reforms, there are work requirements. So the mothers or whoever's receiving the benefit, they have to work for that money, for
Mm,
that TANF or the Medicaid. You can't just get that money.
mm,
So they're getting paid three times. And when they did that reform, you're only allowed to be on welfare for between 24 months and 5 years, depending on your state. like I said, you have to work. Like there's different criteria now, and welfare as it was that people keep talking about like 40 years ago is not welfare as it is now.
Mm.
So a lot of people don't even understand. They're still talking back in 1965. We haven't been there since 1955. Like,
that's a long time.
yeah, it's not that.
That's a long time.
Arrested Development. Catch
You
up.
know what? Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, because I want to move on from this shortly, because I also want to ask you about the fatherless myth a little bit. Want to get into that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into that, but I want to ask you then. I saw earlier this week, and I believe it was on your channel. Two gentlemen were speaking that a lot of this money go toward the bonuses for judges or incentives or processing fees or late fees and interest, and all this goes toward their bonuses, whether it's a Christmas bonus or annual bonus, or and everybody's getting money, but the children seeing nothing. Now, would that be an accurate conversation? And why do you believe that is?
Well, it's accurate to a point. It's inaccurate because they put judges in it. It's accurate because okay, so there's two systems. There's a Title 4D of the Social Security Act, and then there's non-Title 4D. One's welfare and one's not. Somewhere along the way, when there was a whole bunch of different people join this movement, the money, when the money shows up and people see, oh shit, I'm sorry, can you cuss on here?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
When
yeah.
people see there's money to be made and all this kind of stuff, anybody and everybody comes in, so the information starts getting all jacked up, and you don't know what's real and what's fake. So I had retired from all child support reform, anything, because it was just too messy. And I don't, when I see messiness, I'm just gonna bow out, because it was just crazy. It was too much. So I just happened to get back in here because I was plagiarized. Some man wrote a book and plagiarized me. So I just inadvertently came back in. I mean, I still posted information and stuff, but I wasn't in the child support anything. Um, and one of the things that I found out accidentally, and I had seen this, is that they were putting Title 4D in the mix with non-Title 4D, to the point they were lying, saying that judges were getting paid from Title 4D money. And that's how they were setting visitation orders based on Title 4D money, was how much visitation they were getting, and raising your child support orders. So the larger child support orders meant lower visitation, and that was from Title 4D. Well, it was just a lie. But they had went this. This was all in Texas where they were doing this, and this guy had went on some podcast, and it had went viral, like millions of views. And I had seen it. Some lawyer was on my page saying, I'm like, what are you talking about? So I finally saw it. Well, that's not all I saw. And these guys is major racists. Just disgusting, which I was going to talk about anyway. I just didn't know when I was going to talk about it. That was part of when I stopped advocating. That was part of, like, I was going to expose this stuff. Like, these guys don't care nothing about Black fathers, Black mothers, Black kids. This is all part of their thing. That's why you never see Black fathers, Black mothers, Black kids. You never see them, because that's not what they on. That's why we never heard about Title 4D, because it's a welfare program, and they think all Black people on welfare. So that's but it just happened to come to me. Things come to me for some reason. So,
and Kenya, I'll be concerned about people like you sometimes, because you take on these seemingly insurmountable battles. I mean, you're going up against a giant, It's like for me, right? I'm in entertainment business, right? I make films and stuff, right? And I've
Good
had a
one.
couple. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And I
Well,
had a couple of ideas of mine stolen and made into major feature films or series or whatever. And it's like they look at me and say, "I dare you. We a multi-billion-dollar machine. Do something." You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? They know you can't do it. So they brazenly steal from you. Okay. So what I want to ask you in this, because to me, you're almost like a lone soldier, very resilient, strong woman, we should be concerned about that. But what is the worst that you can think of that has happened to you during this struggle fighting these powers that be?
Well, um, my house. Well, the worst thing is my house got shot up in 2018,
Mm,
and nobody, the police never said anything about it. Like they came, of course, that morning. Somebody texted me that I blocked, texted me and said, how's your morning going, Kenya?" Um, what?
mm,
So that was nobody was hurt. Thank God. But I never knew who did it.
mm,
Um, so that was the scariest thing. I had shit mailed to my house, little gross shit. I've been sued.
mm,
That was unsuccessful, but
mm.
threats. I'm from the hood. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. They
Yeah,
snuck me that one time. I did not expect that. But like I say, I say it on my lives. Y'all shoot this time, we shooting back. I
right,
mean, that's it.
right. And Nicole, anything for Miss Kenya at this point? Because this is craziness here. This is bananas. Um, Nicole, you have anything for Miss Kenya that you may find that you want to ask her?
No, not at the moment. Not. I want to definitely talk to her, but I don't want to talk to her on YouTube
Okay. Oh, it's like that. Okay. So,
because, like you said, for one, it's very serious, and I
mhm,
feel that people don't give things the weight that they should have. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all fun and games when it's drama or it's just the
Hmm.
normal BS that go on, but it's like when we talk about important stuff, you see it's 9 people in the chat. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate every single one of those 9 people. But if
Right.
we were sitting here cussing a man out because he wasn't paying child support, it would
Right.
be 90 people in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
like I want to ask her some things and I want to talk to her about some things, but I want to get more personal than I'm gonna get on YouTube.
right. I
Um
hear you.
That's a good point.
Now, yeah, and I just really don't like that. But I really appreciate that you're here because it shows that people are fighting. Now, like you said, you kind of stopped doing it because it was so dangerous. But it's like we're human. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
try to come out, we try to fight, we try to stand up for the people who look like us, but it's hard doing that. Like it's
Yeah.
draining. And I tell Alex this all the time. You can attest, Alex. I ask you, I say, it's it's hard, it's bad to say this, I guess, but it's hard being the good person. It's
Hmm.
hard being the person who stands up for people because then they look at me like, oh, you just a little goody two shoes. Well, if it wasn't a little goody two shoes like me, who would be fighting for you? Because I people come to me and they want us to fight for their issues, but then when we stand out here on the front line, we be standing by ourselves.
Right. And
Right.
then
Well,
people complain that you're not doing it right. Well, you should have did this, and why didn't you do it like that? Like, where were you? I
yeah,
didn't
Right.
see you next to me.
yeah.
And this is serious for somebody to shoot up your house, for somebody to send shit to you in your mail. It's just like you almost want to be like F y'all then. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I'm trying to fight for us to be better as a whole. And
Hmm.
that's why I tell us every show, like, care about yourself so you can care about other people. But we don't even care about each other. Y'all don't even care about the people y'all make kids with.
But let me say this real quick regarding what Kenya has been through with that. if you're a righteous person, you cannot. It's hard to be righteous any place built on evil. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do. That's why biblically it says, you must be born again, because we're born into evilness and we have to learn to be righteous. This place is built on evil.
True.
This is the devil's playground, and you're trying to walk righteously in the devil's playground. Okay, so that's the difficult thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to spread good and fight and this and that, but we're in enemy territory. Point blank, period. We're in enemy territory, and it don't mean we got to bow down to their bullshit or none of that. We just have to understand what we're up against, And
Right.
so in saying that, Ms. Kenya, before we get to the fatherless myth that I want to get to, what kept you in it so long despite these things that were happening?
I wanted to defeat the system. I wanted to abolish the child support system, and I wanted the kids to get their money. I didn't want them robbing us. We needed that money. They wasn't paying, they wasn't giving, the kids were not getting the money. They were locking parents up that were poor. That was their target market. That's who they were going after. Now, it was unfair. I did not have my rights. They made me fight them for 8 years for my rights, my daughter's rights, and her father's rights, off my ignorance. And I did not appreciate that shit.
Right.
And I felt like they did it because because we were black, and
Yeah.
I don't play that.
And people don't realize how really, really deep. Some people don't realize how real deep this hatred and this racism is for us. They think,
Yes.
oh, we had a black president and a black first lady, and we got some rights, and it's all good now. No. This is so deep that it could never be fixed. The earth would have to explode and be rebuilt all over again for this thing to be fixed. There's no fixing this. These people are very flawed. They're very angry. They're very evil. So forth.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, I'm wearing my T-shirt, as you can see. Okay.
It is fly too. I like that shirt.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? We got to get you one, E. Got to get TheeEnicole one. But I wanna ask you, Kenya, about the fatherless myth. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
I'm glad you did. Thank you.
and I want to ask you this. I want to ask you exactly what is it, okay? And is it targeted specifically for us, people of color?
Yes. It is. Okay, so the fatherless myth it goes way back. It's not anything new. It's targeted towards black folks for the reason that they use it to it's like the trifecta. So you got your welfare mama, the welfare queen, and this goes back to 1965. That's when they always, if you listen to when they talk about fatherless families, they always start in 1965. That's when LBJ started the war on poverty, or declared the war on poverty. So you got the mother on welfare who allegedly kicked the daddy out the house to get this welfare. Then you got,
for those of y'all who don't know who LBJ is, that is President Lyndon B. Johnson. For those in the back.
Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I started talking out the
Okay.
Then you got the absent daddy, the black daddy that makes these babies all over the place, and he ain't nowhere to be found. But the mama kicked him out, the welfare queen for this. Then you got this fatherless child, who is the problem of all society, because his parents they're not married, and the reason why they're not married is because of the welfare that she kicked. That before 65, all black parents was married. They all lived in the same house, and because the mama took the check and kicked the daddy out, that ruined everything. So Fast forward, and if you listen to like the president, the Republicans on stage, everybody is saying this fatherless, fatherless, fatherless. That's what their mantra is. That's code for black children, black families, welfare, all that stuff. And the reason why it's a myth is because their definition of this is if the father doesn't live in the house, if the nuclear family is not intact, the mother and father aren't married and they're not living in the house, then that child is fatherless. Well, if if the parents aren't together, but the dad supports the child, is active in the child's life, and everything is everything, then how is that child fatherless? Because that
Right.
child, because that man, that father doesn't live there, does not make that child fatherless. And if you look at white fathers' rights movements, they always say they are alienated.
Mhm.
They don't call themselves or their children fatherless. Now, they have been going through the same thing of being divorced, not living under the same roof as their children, but they don't refer to their children as fatherless.
Mhm.
They instead will pick up from 1965 the stats from there in black households and compare, look at their stats, the suicide rate, all the stuff that they put, but they won't talk about their households and their fatherless kids.
Mhm.
It's the same stats, but they won't say it.
Yeah.
Their examples is we don't want our kids, the alienated kids, to end up like those fatherless kids. But it's the
Mhm.
same thing.
Yeah, words are powerful, Kenya, right? So,
Right.
it's like, when a group of white people get together against something, they're protesters. When we get together as a group against something, we're rioting.
Right.
Okay. So it's like, it's the way they use words to antagonize the public and get the public to think a certain way about a certain group of people, which is typically us. And there's an old saying that the media, the major media, the creed that they live by, the masses are asses, because they know that anything they say on their newscast, the general public are going to believe that.
Right.
Okay, so they look at you as asses because they know you dumb enough to believe that bullshit, and you never look behind the veil to say, why are they saying that?
Right.
Why are they reporting this particular story like that? Why are they doing this? We don't question it. When I was a kid, the 6 o'clock news was the Bible. When I was a kid, growing up
Right.
in the 70s and stuff, they got nothing wrong. That was the Bible to me, you
Right.
know. But as you get older and start to see these cycles and educate yourself and things like that, you get enlightened. And sometimes being enlightened can be a dangerous thing.
It can be, and it's sometimes it's not fun because you just see bullshit everywhere. Like,
Where you go.
man, people don't see that. That's some
Right.
bullshit. And you just see bullshit everywhere, and then it just start being like, oh man.
Now, how frustrating is that for you, Kenya? Because you're very intelligent, extremely highly intelligent woman, right?
Thank you.
And you come across idiots, I'm sure. Now, here's the question, because I deal with this.
I know
Do
you
you
do.
do you even bother talking to them to attempt to enlighten them, or do you just brush them off like, okay, whatever?
Well, it depends on the level of idiot.
Or there's levels to this.
It's
Okay,
levels.
okay,
It's levels. I,
okay.
I give us more leniency if I see some light. But if I see any, if I as soon as I hear something like, well, Candace Owens says, or if I hear some bullshit like that, it's
Mm.
a cut. I'm cutting.
It's a
It's,
wrap.
it's no.
Or
But
your
if I,
boyfriend Larry Elder.
oh my gosh,
Ain't that your
oh,
boyfriend? That's your boyfriend, ain't it?
that is. I mean, he got to not have no. I know he don't. I don't think he don't have any kids or no loved ones because they need to just take him and sit him down somewhere.
And shake him. or something.
Why did he go on that damn Breakfast Club and thought he ate so much? Did y'all see how much he posted that shit?
Yeah, he blowing it up.
Oh my gosh.
He blowing it up.
He did, and he didn't do nothing.
So the
I
minute
don't
you
know
come
what
out,
happened. What happened?
no, he was on the Breakfast Club, Larry Elder.
And
What
they
happened?
asked
I
him
don't know what
about
y'all
the
talking about.
fatherless, asked him about the fatherless epidemic, because that's all he talks about.
Oh, okay.
And he said something about Biden and he thought he got with Charlemagne, and it was weak. It was 7 days week, and he shared the shit out of that it was he shared it everywhere, and he didn't do nothing. If you Google it right now, it'll come up like 1,000 times from him.
Because Charlemagne asked him, did he believe in the nigga wake up call? Did he know what that was? Okay. So he started coming back at Charlemagne about that Biden was on their show with all the stuff that Biden did with his terrible history with black people. And he got on their show and said, if you don't vote for me, you're not really black. Okay. So Elder said to Charlemagne, I guess that's your nigga wake up call. Why'd you have him? Why didn't you attack him when he said that?
Oh, that's what.
Yeah.
Y'all missed that. Oh,
Yeah.
so that was him eating.
That was him eating.
That's
Going,
even worse than I thought.
going back at Charlemagne like that. You know what I mean? So, but the dangerous things about Elder, Candace Owens was danger. They're very intelligent people. Okay. But at the same time, they're ignorant. They're ignorant because they believe that because they're either married to white people or dating white people, or they've been accepted into this white community, that they can assimilate, and it's a buffer for them from racism. So they don't want to deal with racism the way ordinary or conventional black folk deal with it. They figure they have a buffer because my husband is white, my kids are mulatto, my wife is white, I've been accepted into this society, I can assimilate. So I'm not like that black person.
Do you
I'm
think
not like them. Oh yeah, they really I think, because they're so intelligent, it's shameful. But I think they really feel like they can assimilate or have assimilated, and they talk rhetoric about
I,
black people.
I wonder about that. Like, I guess I think they are so smart, because I do agree they are super intelligent. But I wonder, do they ever feel accepted? Like, do they ever feel like you're saying they feel comfortable, like they are accepted? But do they ever really feel like that? Like, I can't see, as racist as the United States is, I don't see any black person ever feeling truly accepted. But I may be wrong. I just don't know. But
We talked about mental illness earlier. Okay. And to me, that's part of mental illness to them.
Oh, okay.
Because they have such self-hatred. Okay, that's a lot of self-hatred. To me, self-hatred is mental illness. You hate what looks like you. You hate where you come from. So, I grew up with a guy. I was a big sports guy: basketball, football, boxing. I did it all, right? And I grew up with a guy who's really one of my buddies. I love him to this day. But when we were kids, whoever was the winning side, that's my side. Who's ever winning the basketball game, that's my side. That's my side. Always want the winning side, but don't want to contribute to make the side a winning side.
Right.
They want to jump on once the winning is being done. Okay. And that's how I feel like people like Candace Owens and Larry Elder, Clarence Carter, the judge, what the hell is his last name? Clarence Thomas. Clarence Carter's a singer. Woo! I'm stroking. That's Clarence Carter, but Clarence Thomas. Yeah, Clarence Thomas. Right. These people who he's particularly despicable, but these kind of people who will turn on you that look like you, that look like them, they'll turn on you because they have such self-hatred. And to me, that's mental illness. Okay.
Okay.
You know, now I appreciate your view now. Don't get me wrong.
No,
Okay.
I
I could,
appreciate yours too.
yeah,
I don't.
I could be wrong. I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I just know that to me, it doesn't look right. Knowing our history in this country, knowing
Right.
what we've been through, okay, that you would turn around, date some white folk, and start talking bad about black people. To me, that just
Right.
doesn't feel right or look right to me.
Mental illness does sound like a more plausible answer than I would think like money. Like I like are they like Candace Owens to me always seemed like she putting on like it's an
Mhm.
act,
Mhm.
and when she go home she don't do that. But I mean I don't know.
Right,
I don't know. It just don't make any sense.
right. Yeah, TheeEnicole has to put that up there because right now we're going in, so she got to put that up
Oh, oh.
there. She got to put that up. And can you believe she does this to me all the time because there's no telling what's going to come out of my mouth. So she does this to me all the
Oh
time.
no, I understand.
So I get it. But
But
I
I
want to
more
ask.
so do that. I more so do that because if I was about to say Facebook, but all of them, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you can say any craziness you want to say and that'll fly. But when you're talking real stuff, then they want to penalize you for speaking the truth and standing for something that matters. So I just put this
Right.
here for YouTube because they like to play
All
games.
right.
Yeah. And Kenya, I want to segue a little bit while she has the disclaimer up. So, we all know about your book now, which is famous, The Child Support Hustle.
Oh,
What books are you working on now? What's in store for us now that we can look forward to that you're working on?
I am working on my book that I'm almost finished with. I know you heard that a few times, Alex, but I
Yes.
really am almost finished now. And it is going to dispel the the what 70 plus year myth that welfare destroyed the black family.
Mm,
And I don't know, I mean, I'm not writing it to debate with anybody. Really, I was writing it for myself to find out really the root of this talking point. We hear it, I've heard it for as long as I can remember. So I just wanted to research it and find out where it started, why it started, what the truth of um, the whole thing was with the man up in the house rule, and what started it.
mm.
And it's very interesting. I've been researching. It took a lot longer than I expected. I thought I knew everything, but surprise, surprise, no, I don't.
Right. It's like the more you know, the more you don't. You
Hmm.
know, and it's like
So
remember the movie. Remember the movie Claudine.
yes,
It's kind of like that where she couldn't have a man in the house. The welfare lady would come and look around, and James Earl Jones couldn't be there.
well,
You know what I mean?
interesting that movie because let me see if you notice this. Whenever people talk about that issue, the man in the house, they show the same clips. It's never anything really new. It's the same clips.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that movie, it wasn't that he was her husband or anything like that. That was her man.
Mm-hmm.
So no, they didn't. And the lady says, "Why don't you marry her?"
Mm-hmm.
So what was wrong with that? If
Mm-hmm.
you over here, you sleeping with her, you see she has children, marry her.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, he did. That's how the movie ended.
I never saw the movie. I always just see that clip and him running around the house and stuff like that.
Well,
So
see see, and it feeds into what you're talking about.
mhm.
They show that clip because that's the negative clip. She
But
had nine. She had 9 children or something like that. She had a lot of children. Okay,
mhm.
and here's a single man. I think he might have had one daughter who was in college or something or whatever. So if he take her on, he taking on 9 children. Okay, so that was a big load for him to take on. But eventually, he loved her enough to say, you know what, screw this. I want to marry this woman, which is how the movie basically ended.
But when I see the clip, it's always about welfare. It's
Yeah.
not,
Mhm.
they don't put it in like, oh, this is a great clip where he takes on a responsibility, like how you just explained it. I didn't know that was what the movie was about. I only
Right.
see him ducking and dodging the
Mhm.
welfare lady because welfare never let you have a man in the house, so you wouldn't get your benefits. So that's what broke up the family.
Well, it's like TheeEnicole saying, that's the kind of stuff that get the clicks, right? You show that clip, and there's 1,000 people in chat.
Right.
Okay. Well, when you talk about the positive side of things and how we resolve and solve and fight these things, you might have 8 or 9 in the chat, kind of thing. So this is what TheeEnicole was just talking about a minute ago. But Kenya, how do people? And I don't want the wrong people to find you, but obviously you're at this point, you're famous or infamous, if you
I'm
will.
not famous.
You're
I don't I
infamous or whatever. Um, but how do people go? I know you sell merchandise. You got great merchandise. I'm wearing it, and you got a lot of other stuff. Okay, you got books and things like that. So how do people find you to support you? Donate to your cause, buy your merchandise, so forth. Can you give all that information? Because we're going to put it in the description
Oh,
of this
sure.
video.
I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it. You can visit my website at thechild-support-hustle.com. Let me see my email, cshustle, the number one at gmail.com. I don't work on individual cases anymore. However, if you have like a question about your child support case or, something like that, and because I have a lot of information, a lot of material, if I can point you in the right direction, I have no problem doing that. You can email your question to me, or you can leave me a comment on one of my videos on YouTube. I'm on here too, and I'll try to, guide you in the right direction or whatever. And one thing I want to just add real quick, Alex, if you come across somebody in the child support arena and they say, I can get you off of child support if you pay me X amount of dollars, please do your research
Mm-hmm.
thoroughly before you give anybody your money. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
So I'm pretty sure you've probably heard that many, many times before. Probably why you're saying it now.
Oh yeah, I've talked
Um,
to a lot of parents that have been out of thousands of dollars uh,
yeah.
through that avenue trying to get their case closed.
Yeah. Well, Kenya, I'm gonna tell you, you have an open invitation because I know you're about to finish that book. We're gonna want you back to discuss that book as well. And of course, we're all gonna purchase that book as well. And you guys, please go purchase the Child Support Hustle. But you definitely have an open invitation to come back and discuss any of your business endeavors and your great merch and things that you got going on moving forward. So
Thank
please
you.
come back. Please come back and talk to us.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Again, I'm sorry for my lateness.
Okay, we're gonna drop you down, but just hang out backstage for a second, and then we're
Okay.
gonna come back there and speak to you for a minute.
Nice meeting you, E.
You too, for sure.
Stay
All
strong.
right,
Stay
thank
safe,
you,
y'all.
Ken. All right, thank you. All right, E. You all right, E?
So
Too much? It's too much for you, E?
no. I feel that people, when they ask people to come, they talk too much. You're supposed to let the person that come talk.
Okay, okay, okay.
um,
Oh,
that was Kenya. Of course, we're gonna put all her information in the description. It's a lot of great content creators in the chat. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to them. And make sure that you guys are subscribed to Alex as well. He's a great content creator on his own. So like we were saying earlier, we have to start caring about each other more. And by doing that, you have to start with caring for yourself. You have to care about your own mental health. You have to care about your own self love, self respect, all that. That's the only way you're going to be able to share it out. Because like the bottom line is they don't care about us, y'all. Like how many ways can we say it? You know, other than that, stay tuned. We got a lot of great, fun things planned for you guys over here. I'm not going to tell y'all everything, but they're definitely coming. So make sure that y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all hit that like button on y'all way out. And we will see y'all the same time, same place next week.
peace out.
Welcome to my galaxy. Welcome to my galaxy. This is TheeEnicole. You can always call me E, but don't never call me Nicole. Your presence is appreciated. Please be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe. It's always a vibe. In my galaxy.
Hey, it's Sean Dufresne from Ready to Love, and you are watching my girl, TheeEnicole.
Tasha Lyons telling you to tune into TheeEnicole.
This is Samson from Ready to Love, and you're tuned into TheeEnicole.
It's Winter from Love America DC, and you're tuned in to TheeEnicole.
Make sure you guys subscribe to TheeEnicole. She is amazing. Click that button, subscribe, and you are going to enjoy all the information that she's going to share.
So come on over and tune in